Hello and welcome to SHUKC Sports Pass. I am your overly underdressed host, David Brox. I am joined alongside Mr. Vernon Birmingham.
And unfortunately, I'm overdressed, but I mean, with sad occasion, of course, one of my old high school teammates' father passed away, Damian Rolls, who was arguably probably the best baseball player to come out of Kansas City since your David Segui and Kevin Youngs. He ended up being a first-round draft pick with the L.A. Dodgers, but unfortunately, his father passed away, so I have to go pay my respects when we're done here.
Absolutely. We haven't met in a couple of weeks, so we probably got a couple of topics that we can touch on. We definitely want to talk about some of the action that happened last night specifically. I mean, let's get the
There's been some mollywoppings taking place the last couple of weeks.
in a huge one. I got a text that at the halftime of the game of Sligo versus Wyandotte. So Sligo at home was getting beat 42-17 by Wyandotte, and final score 72-36. Kudos to Wyandotte to be able to go get that win, and this is the second or third team now that they put up 30-point wins on. But
it's hard for me to talk about my home team in this type of. But we've been saying from the beginning, Wyandotte's pretty good this year. I mean, a little coaching change made a big difference, allowing the guys to play a little bit. I said actually one time over this week on Twitter, but Theo Bass is the best guard that I personally seen this year. There's some other good ones around here over at the Washington and Atchison and some other places, but Theo Bass I'm very impressed. He doesn't shoot the ball a lot from outside, but he's one of those guys who I feel he gets to the rim whenever he wants.
and getting to the free throw line too, obviously has had a big year. But I mean, they got a number of players on this squad now. You get messages from coach, and there's a lot of different pieces that Nunley, Tatum, Dale, all those guys can be in double figures on any given night. So the Wyandotte Bulldogs, big.
Shout out to my boy Dante, he got 12 last night. Yeah. Dante, he showed up big. I mean, he got some minutes at the where were we at? The Sprint
Center?
Sprint Center. My boy Dante with the goggles, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dante got him 12 last night. Youth entrepreneurs,
There
alum.
you go. Sumner Academy falls to St. James 61-45, and we saw Sumner Academy against Piper. A little bit of a showdown game with Moses and Morris Letcher. Getting together for that first time. Sumner's young, a lot of turnovers, and I don't know how much of the game you actually got to watch, but Piper's actually scoring 82 on the road. I mean, they got some pieces to build on.
Yeah, I saw about I want to say 10 minutes of it because I was out of town traveling. But Jordan Guest looked well. Saw Skeena hit a big three in the corner at the time I was watching, and hustling plays as well. So even saw BB make a little move to the basket a little bit. So Piper seems. I mean, we saw them last week in tournament week. Was it last week?
Spring Hill.
So they're starting to seem like they're starting to click a little bit. So actually, it's going to be very interesting to see them in that showdown soon, whenever that is, running into Baser again.
So Piper did get third place at the Spring Hill tournament, lost at the buzzer to the eventual champions of that tournament, Blue Valley Southwest. So check this out, Vernon. The Bishop Ward Cyclones are white hot right now. They're not red hot yet, but they have won 4 straight games.
What you talking about, Willis?
39-35 over the Tonganoxie Chieftains. Let me say this again. The Cyclones have won 4 in a row.
Who are the other
teams that they beat? They won a couple of teams at the Baldwin tournament. I think they were in there as well. They beat Anderson County. I mean, no, the competition. I mean, they ain't beating like world beat, but wins are wins at this point too. And maybe they're starting to try and figure something out with their big man that transferred in and Mr. Serta putting in work.
We have Piper on a game here coming up soon, don't we?
We have Ward against Turner.
That's why I meant Ward.
See both of those squads. So Mr. Darnell Miller, I posted some highlights of him. He's really come on this year for the Turner Bears. Not showing up in the win columns, but still putting in work. Speaking of Turner, they lost to Bonner Springs, the champions out of Baldwin. So we had a couple of our teams go win tournaments this week. So I mean, we were represented real well across all of our teams. Talk a little bit about tournament week and maybe some of the impressions you took from that.
Well, tournament week is, to me, one of the best times of the year. You get teams playing a lot of teams they have not as familiar with, so we don't know what's, at least when our teams play each other, we kind of know or expect what's going to happen. But you're running into a lot of teams where you might have little information about and be able to go out there and get in championship games is pretty impressive. Of course, you at the same time you run into teams you haven't heard of and take one on the chin. And I know I watched some of the Schlegel Scott City game, and of course, a lot of people don't think much about Scott City, but if you follow college sports, Wichita State, Ron Baker is a Scott City kid, and I think he must have a younger brother, cousin who was on that team, but they looked really good. So tournament week is a good opportunity to get out of your norm, playing the teams that you always are comfortable playing, and go out and experience some things, experience some new towns. So it is what it is, but now we get into that second half crunch time for league races.
So Baser Linwood, another team, we got to see the big showdown with Park Hill, Mr. Landry Shamet, who's committed to go play down at Wichita State. Baser still undefeated. You got him at number 1. I got him at number 1 too. What do you think about the Baser Bobcats?
Well, like you said, I've held, even though they've been at number 2, I've held them at they're undefeated. I held them at number 2, mainly because to what I feel was not as big of a strength of schedule, but when you beat on one of the better teams, and I'm going to sneeze here. Maybe.
Pause. Did you get that on camera, Mark?
Excuse me.
Oh, okay. So you got the face right before.
Oh, man. So, being able to play against one of the top teams in Missouri and hold your own and actually get the win, even though they're a minus a player, it's still a big deal. So that win was impressive and moves them up to at least my number 1 in the Power 5 for now.
So Pat Muldoon, Jack Dell's really stepped up big time, and Jerron McPherson all named to that tournament team. The Wyandotte Bulldogs stepped up big time, got to the championship game at the Vikings Classic. They got ran into probably the best player in the area.
They played well for a half. I watched that as well. They played well for a half, but it just came down to being outmatched down in the paint a little bit. Not able to rebound and bang bodies down there, and it made a difference.
Mr. Purrier's he's a player.
Yeah.
Committed to go play at Missouri. So, I mean, there's a lot of talent in the metro area. So
he might want to rethink that commitment.
After all those beatdowns that Missouri's been taking here lately. On the girls' side, KVL is wide open. We're going to be talking to the Lansing coach. The girls' side of KVL is kind of a mess, I guess, in terms of all the different teams.
I think there's a good 4 to 5 teams. I mean, 4 for sure. You think about your Bonner and your Piper, Mill Valley, but that surprise team has kind of been Lansing. We're going to talk to Christine Robinson here in a little while, but those 4 teams right now just beating each other a little bit. I got asked a question about my ranking because somebody beat somebody. I'm like, well, that team also lost to that team.
Right.
But we're starting to see we're going to see things figure out themselves out here a little bit. We know Bonner and Piper's played a couple times, and they'll play probably 2 more times potentially. So those teams still figuring each other out a little bit. I saw Mill Valley, I think girls took one on the chin. I think last night maybe or 2 nights ago. I think it's Gardner. So
yeah, the team's still in a tournament week. The Lansing Lions actually got 3rd place last night at the Lewisburg tournament, beat Shawnee Mission North 34-23. So ugly game. We'll talk to Coach here in a bit. Sumner Academy took another L yesterday against Junction City, 56-46. So they'll play for 5th place today. Later today, we'll see what happens there.
And that's playing up a couple. I think Junction City might still be 6A, if not 5. So that's playing up a little bit. Schlegel went out to Kobe last week, and after winning their first game, ran into a pretty good team out of Colorado who put the old school beat down on them as well. So,
speaking of old school beatdowns, so I don't know if this was the day before, so I don't know if the guys kind of caught wind of what the Schlegel girls did to the Wyandotte girls and maybe wanted to get some payback. But, I mean, these are the scores that we're talking about. But still, 88-18, the Schlegel Stallions defeat Wyandotte girls. What are your thoughts? I mean, generically, you say, yeah, it had to be a layup line and a thing, but still being able to put up 88 points to score and make that many baskets in a regulation game, a clock running probably in the 4th quarter, is that impressive to Mr. Vernon Birmingham? No? So you can make layups.
You better make layups. You got to remember, in our Schlegel days, we used to make 65 layups in a minute.
Well, that's valid, I guess.
Remember the layup drill we used to have to do? Both sides going.
That's valid. I mean, it impresses me a little bit. So we'll be talking to Miss Kiara Brown. She'll join us on the show. The only player in the area with a triple-double. Still, I know Kenneth Banks has come close a couple of times, but still only one triple-double so far this year. The Piper Pirates and Bonner Springs are out there in tournament week as well. Got a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, but we're hitting that stretch now that we're getting to February. This is the month that really starts to separate the pretenders and the contenders, as they say in one of them TV shows or movies or whatever I could pull that line from.
So just like I know we got a lot of good action in tournaments. I think we got a lot of good teams that have potential going, making at least a trip to state, if not competing for a state title. Who are some of those teams that you think could step up and make that kind of accomplishment this year?
Oh, well, from the boys' side, of course, Baser, of course, Washington, or the couple that I think about immediately. It's going to take. I have to get a look at what sub-state Wyandott's in. Of course, they're always in a pretty tough one. So we'll kind
They're actually at 6. They're at 6A for
Right.
basketball. So that makes it a little bit tougher to be able to play.
So
play
yeah,
at that
so it
level.
depends on which one they're in though. I mean, some of those Olathe teams are down, but if they're in one with one of the Lawrences, I don't know. So we'll kind of figure that out from the girls' side. Of course, that Bonner Piper.
We're going to get at least one that gets to go from there.
And I mean, we'll see Schlegel. They made some bounds this year, but depends again sub-state placement and how well they're clicking at that time of the year.
Who's standing out to you player-wise? We talked about Theo Bass. What are the maybe a couple from the boys and a couple from the boys? Who's standing out to you?
Of course, Bass, Muldoon. Of course, those are a couple of the obvious ones. I'm trying to think of who else was. Oh boy, Jack Dale played really well in that Park Hill game. Like I said, I watched that one.
I know I've seen Esquina a couple of times now. More so in the Sumner game than what we saw at Spring Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, he's seeing things a little bit quicker than he was too. He actually going in and rebounding his own miss. I don't see kids doing that anymore. Hustling out of bounds. He's playing at another. He's taking his game up another level, showing a little bit more leadership as well. But Jordan Guess, my guy, had 19 points. Actually got in one point where he should have took a couple of heat check shots after hitting all those threes in the first quarter. So, I mean, a lot of different players around the area stepping up, and, we'll have to see how things turn out. I'm looking forward to the last month and a half of the regular season here.
Should be a good one.
All right, so this is David Brox with Vernon Birmingham. We'll be right back to talk to the head coach of the Lansing Lions, Miss Christine Robinson. All right, David Brox back, SHUKC Sports Pass. Our first guest this morning is Miss Christine Robinson, head coach of the Lansing Lions. I want just kind of start out with maybe introduction. We haven't talked to you before, so maybe give us an introduction about you. This is your third season now at Lansing. Kind of give us a rundown of your background in coaching and how you ended up at Lansing.
Okay, absolutely. I am a military wife, so my husband is stationed at Fort Leavenworth, but we actually moved here in 2008. Prior to that, I coached in North Carolina, Alabama, and Washington State. So my coaching background is pretty broad across the whole country. We were blessed to end up in Kansas City, and this is where we plan to stay. And, I was lucky enough to get the position at Lansing 2 years ago. This is my third season now. I'm really enjoying it. A lot of great people I get to work with out there, and it's been a lot of fun.
So, like David says, our first time getting a chance to chat with you a little bit because you skipped out on our media day. No, I'm just messing with you a little bit. But many say that year 3 is when you really start to see things come together a little bit, some of the fruits of the labor as a coach. So based on the progress from the last few seasons, is that process kind of as you expected right now?
Yeah, I'm never satisfied, which I probably should try to be a little more satisfied. I wish our record was a little better. We're at 7-6 right now. But we are definitely going in the right direction. My first season, we had 4 wins. We had 10 wins last year. And if we continue to win and beat the teams that we should, we'll finish stronger this year. So our program is going in the right direction, and we're starting to click. The kids are starting to understand what I expect, and, they're running my offense that I brought in, and they're just doing a great job adapting to all the changes that they've had over the past couple of years. So I'm proud of them.
So we had Madison Bosworth and Michaela Zielinski in our All-Star game
Yes.
last year. So we got a chance to see, their development and how they ended up as seniors. And now you got a few seniors that are contributing for you this year. So your program's really starting to develop and having a lot of people coming through it. What do you account that to, kind of philosophy-wise, from your perspective?
Well, I think as a head coach, I mean, you've got to have a feeder program and start with kids and get to know them as a young age. And unfortunately, with me just coming in a couple years ago with those girls that graduated last year, and even the seniors I have now, I've only known them since their sophomore year. So it's taken a while. But the good thing is I'm working with the 4th and 5th graders, and they're starting to run all the drills and offenses we run. This summer we took our junior high team with us to camp, as well as our JV and our varsity, and those kids bonded. And we're starting to build those relationships where the younger ones are looking up to the older ones, and they're working with them. And so I think that's really going to help get this program going in the right direction in the future.
So we talk about that often, actually, with their smaller kind of communities. You're able to do those things. So like with the Basers and the Lansings and even the Bonners, but of course in your KCK schools where you have all the kids divided up between 5 or 6 schools, being able to go down and teach the coaches for the younger programs your offense and those things. How important is that for you?
Oh, it means a lot to me. If for this program to be successful, I mean, we've got to have kids buy in at a young age and understand what I expect out of them. And the nice thing is when they get to high school, it's not so stressful learning new plays and what our expectations are for our high school program. They've already learned all that at a young age, so we can start focusing on higher levels of the game.
Are the coaches real open to that type of thing? I mean, they're not able to, if they're running your plays and kind of running your system, are they still got some freedom to do some different things that they would want to do?
Absolutely. Every coach has different aspects that they bring to the game, and I think that's really important that they still have their identity, the younger coaches that are, should I say the coaches that are coaching the younger kids. I give them a basic set of things that we do and ask them to kind of work around them, but make it theirs. So that the basic fundamental things that we do on defense and on offense, the kids learn, but they may learn that in a little different setting, but it's still familiar to them when they get to the high school program.
All right, so Kaija
Kamek. Yep.
She's been huge for you this year, averaging about 13 and a half, about 6.5 boards. Talk a little bit about her and her role she's been playing and taking Lansing to that next level.
Yeah, we've been really blessed to have Kaija on our team. Not only is she a great player, but she's a great person, a great leader as a senior. She's hungry, and she's a tough post player that, pretty much every team we play, she's on the number 1 on the scouting report. How are we going to stop Kaija? She's just so strong in the paint. She's tough to guard. I can't even hardly guard her in practice. She wears me out. So, she's just been a great leader, and she stepped up as a senior and has done the things that we've asked her to do. I'm really proud of her for that.
So you get out there in practice, banging around a little bit, lacing up the kicks a little bit?
Sometimes.
So
when I get frustrated, then I get in there and try to show them what I'm trying to tell them, and it's not always as fast as it should be, but, I try.
So you played before when you were high school, college, or?
Yeah, I was actually more of a track athlete, but I've always loved the game of basketball and grew up playing it. And, my dad was my coach, so, he was kind of my role model, and I knew that was something that I wanted to do. Just the aspects of working with kids and teaching them life lessons and watching them grow and be successful in a sporting environment is something I just really enjoy being a part of.
One of the players that helps create, room for Kaija is Emily Babcock. I know that she has a little bit more range, can stretch out to 3. Talk a little bit about her, another senior in the program.
Yeah, she's a great leader. She's super coachable and has a great attitude, and she works hard every possession, does everything we ask her to do, and she has a great shot to go along with it, which has been great for us. She has good chemistry with Kaija. They've played together for a long time. And she's another senior leader that we really like having on the team.
So you're in one of those kind of situations where you have that good mix, where you have the experience, but you have a good, I guess, nucleus of youth as well. So talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of those young people. Start with sophomore Maya Cooper. Very small player, fast and skilled a little bit.
Yeah, she is a heck of an athlete, man. We are just blessed to have her. I mean, I know I can put her in on defense, and she's a defensive stopper. She's super quick, and she's got great leaps, for her little tiny body. She's also a point guard, and she does a great job leading the girls on the court. And she's been a great energy. Sometimes she starts, sometimes she doesn't, but when she comes off the bench, she brings us that little extra burst of energy, which I really like. So we're lucky to have her.
So how important was it for you to give her some almost went with the old school term of giving her some clock or giving her some tick as a freshman?
Yeah. we were kind of at that position where I needed some guards and I needed some quick defenders, and I had two. Destiny Mathis is another one. She's taller. She's number 33. And those two together were really great on the press, and they got a lot of experience last year as freshmen, and they made a lot of freshman mistakes that they learned from, and they're starting to turn those into, great games. So I'm, having the two of them together as just sophomores, and a few other sophomores that were really successful in the JV last year come in and step up. That's a really strong group of girls that are going to help us in the future.
Do you consciously make that decision, though, that you wanted to play a couple of freshmen to be able to, again, you're still building a nucleus and being able to see them and have that experience over a 4-year period is a lot better than maybe just having them for 1 or 2?
Yeah, it's much tougher playing at the varsity level. I mean, you're playing against kids that are 2, 3, 4 years older than you with that much more experience, and I knew that would help them down the road, but we also needed their defensive presence. So it was time for them at a younger age than some.
So Madeline Moya is another one. She's got 10 points, 4 rebounds a game. She's just a junior, so again, what Vernon was talking about, a good mix of underclassmen and upperclassmen. Talk a little bit about Madeline.
Yeah, she's a great addition. She's probably our most versatile player. I mean, I can post her up in the paint, and she's super strong, and she's got great footwork, great post moves, and she can hit the three. She can bring the ball up the court. She's very strong with the ball. Her ball handling skills are unmatched. She's just one of those kids. I can put her anywhere I need her, and she's willing to do that, and she steps up for our team and really helps us on all aspects.
So the team has made some noise in the league this year.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. So you guys lost to open up with the Mill Valley.
Yes.
You went on and rattle off, I want to say 4 in a row against the bottom half of the league. So your Ward Turners, Knoxie's Baser, the games that you want to get. But then you had that home game against Bonner, and you were able to get that one 49-48. So how big was that win for your program?
Oh, it was huge because, those girls have never beat Bonner. So they kind of have this mentality, well, we've never beat them. I don't know if we can. And they were able to do that. It was a tough game. I mean, we were down at the end of the game, and they were able to hold their composure and be mentally tough. And that's a big part of growing up on the basketball court and in life. So they were just super happy about that, and I was more than pleased, and that's a great building point for the rest of our season.
So they knew that they hadn't
they told
beat
me.
Bonner since December 17th.
They keep track.
That was going to be see if we can get a trivia question on when it was. I looked it up. It was 12-17-2010 was the last time you guys
and you know who was
them.
on that team?
Who's that?
Little Red, Little Briggs, Coach Briggs'
really?
daughter, who went on to be a great. She's graduated
had a
now.
college player there.
But
too.
the girls had reminded me that Lansing had not beat Bonner Springs since Amy Briggs played for Lansing. So it's been a while.
But talk a little bit about what a win like that does. I mean, Bonner's dominated. I mean, they haven't won league the last. They've been competitive.
Absolutely.
At least Sam was dominating for a time there with Anna Deegan. How good of a payoff is that as a coach? Because now you get to see some fruits from your labor. The message that you've been sending to them is starting to show with some wins. Yeah,
they're starting to believe in themselves more. And I've always believed in them. And I know we have a lot of talent and we have a lot of potential. And they start to see that when they're in a close game and we're down and they're able to win. We suffered a really tough loss to Mill Valley in overtime, where we had many opportunities to win that game and we didn't. And we brought that up. How we've grown from that experience, and now we're in another tough game and we're able to come out on top. So we're just going to build off of that as we build this program.
So the league race is starting to come down now too. I mean, it's who can win on the road, or can you protect your home court? You guys played a real good game at Piper. I think before a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah.
You guys were down by as many as 13, were able to fight back and get back in that ball game. Talk a little bit about, being on the road and playing against a tough Piper team.
Yeah, Piper's always tough. I mean, they're just very talented and they use their talent very well. And the girls all know each other. I mean, some of them play together in the summer and they're friends, and it's just that rivalry that we have with them. And even last year we were close when we played them, close games. We've got to get over that hump and learn how to be winners. And, did that with Bonner, and I'm hoping we'll be able to do that the second time around with Piper on our home court. So
you kind of mentioned earlier a little bit talking about your husband been in military, so you guys bounce around. So you guys been here for a little while now. Will you guys be in Lansing for a while now, or do you not know yet? Or
No, my husband's close to retirement, so I think we're pretty much probably going to stay here because we're really happy here. It's a great place, and it's a great place to raise children. We have a sophomore daughter and a son in 7th grade, and this is a great place for them to grow up, and we enjoy it here too. So
We're real surprised and happy to see Lansing, get back on the map. It's been kind of a top-heavy league on the girls' side, so
yeah,
real happy to see the success you have. 3rd place at the Lewisburg tournament, so good to see you guys on the winner side of that. We appreciate all the work that you're putting in out at Lansing, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
And not only that, like I know you kind of been doing this experience with the youth. I have an 8th grade daughter who's pretty good, who's going to be maybe at Bishop Ward
Yeah, I
next
think
year.
you told me
So
that
you might
a couple
face
weeks
her,
ago.
but we can do some type of trade-off. We might cut the camera for this, but
Yeah.
I will send my
I don't
daughter to
mind.
Lansing if you send your son TJ to
Oh,
my track team. We
we're
can
gonna
maybe
make a
work something
trade.
out a little bit and see what we can get.
Verna's always recruiting.
Yeah, we have a little track history here.
Yeah,
summer track stuff.
TJ is one of those kids I just couldn't get.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk after the
Yeah,
show.
we'll talk.
There you go. All right, this is David Brox with SHUKC Sports Pass. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. SHUKC Sports Pass, joined by our first, maybe only student guest this weekend, Miss Kiara Brown. How are you doing?
I'm good.
So Kiara is a leader for the now 9-5 Slagle Stallions, my #1 ranked Slagle Stallions.
See, they were #1 on my ranking a week before they were #1 on yours.
That's because I didn't release mine. when it came out. So Kiara was named the Stars Athlete of the Week a few weeks back, right?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. Did you get to talk to them at all, or did they just kind of put you up on their website, or what?
No, I didn't really talk to them. They just put me on the website.
So I'm taking it you knew somebody over there,
No,
some type
I
of inside
found out
job,
when I
some-
was out of town.
gave somebody some money.
No.
What did you- no, none of those.
No.
It's hard to crack a list like that from Casey. So your hard work is really
Yeah,
paying off. So
Congratulations.
Thanks.
averaging 12 points a game, 3 assists, 8.4 rebounds, and 4.8 steals. Sounds like one of my stat lines.
From your stat line, would be missing the 8.0 turnovers.
Average 1-to-1 ratio. So if somebody hadn't seen you play before, how would you describe your game?
An all-around player. I can go from a point guard to a post to a shooting guard, rebounder, just everything.
So we know you're a little bit of a hard worker, but how are you enjoying the team success this year?
We had a little bumps in the beginning, but now I feel like we're coming together as a team and as a family, and we're working together more to win all of our games.
So the secret's out now. No, you guys aren't going to be a surprise to anybody. So you guys got that big win at home against Sumner Academy. I know how
Yeah.
much a win like that would mean to you specifically because you've been
Yeah.
here the last few years. Talk a little bit about that win and what it meant to you personally and to the team.
Like, to beat Sumner is like us proving a point that we're not underneath Sumner. Like, we're both good teams. So us getting a win against them made the returners very happy.
So why do you come in here wearing Sumner colors then?
Well, this is my Slago
Okay.
hoodie.
All right. So also, Washington was having a pretty good year as well, but you guys met up with, they actually were winning quite a few games in a row, even though I think their schedule maybe wasn't as tough at the time. But you actually, as we like to say, mollywopped them as well. Talk a little bit about that matchup, another league battle.
Washington, they had a hard press somewhat, and we still got through it. So if we all worked as a team to beat Washington because it was kind of easy. But, yeah.
Is that a rival? Do you guys look at that as a rivalry?
No. I think as Sumner as our rivalry.
So in that game, Miss Brown here posted the only triple-double of this season. You had one last year too, but 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 steals.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the experience, contributing in so many different ways for the team, to help get a win.
See, I don't even think I got all my points, like, throughout the game. I think I just got them in the third and fourth quarter. But to get a triple-double, I wasn't even thinking I had that many points or steals. I was just throwing the ball up because I kept getting tired.
But it seems like you were slacking a little bit because you only had 4 assists and 3 blocks. What's up with that?
Because the blocks
Just
is
messing with
kind
you.
of like foul, so I had to watch that.
So you were hacking. You had like 5 fouls as well?
No.
4 fouls? Getting your stat line up in the fouls as well?
How does it feel? You guys, I mean, last year you got maybe experienced some games where it was kind of lopsided against you guys. How does it feel being on the opposite side of that now? You guys won that game 71-34. You guys are giving the beat downs now as opposed to, taking them. How do you guys feel about that?
It feels like we're just untouchable as a team because us beating all these teams that beat us last year is like, now what? Like, we're just untouchable.
So you guys visited the wonderful place called Kobe, Kansas.
Yeah.
Recently.
That threw me off last week. So that's the Old Dodge City tournament?
No, Kobe. See, we went to Kobe our senior year, so you were gone. But Kobe, it's far. It's out in the middle of nowhere, straight out I-70. But
okay.
but you guys ran into some pretty stiff competition out there. Talk about a little bit about the experience. You guys, beat up on the Washington, but went up and played a little bit tougher competition from Colorado. Talk about that experience and I guess setbacks potentially, and how did those help you going into this week that you just had?
The setbacks from Kobe kind of made us learn that we can't do selfish ball. We have to play as a team in order to win. And in Kobe, it was kind of on and off selfish, some together. Like the first game we won because we was a team. The second and third kind of selfish, but then when we came back to play against Wyandotte, we all played as a team and won. So
some coaches or some media or some folks will sometimes say sometimes a loss at that time is not a bad thing, especially when you're coming back trying to finish the second half of your season a little bit. So would you, as a player, say, running into your team and kind of getting handled, it allows you to refocus a little bit?
yes, I would, because to take that L kind of made us want to win more. Like, it gave us the willpower to win more.
Okay, because I watched the first game you guys, and that tells you what's happening with KCK basketball when I'm actually logging on my computer to watch girls hoops. I would never have done that last year, but the fact that with your Sumners and Schlegels and some of these other teams playing so well, I'm becoming a little bit more interested in little girls hoops. So, so that's a good thing, I guess.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about Coach, who's obviously helped come in and kind of change the culture. I know you smile because we got Coach sitting over here. We got to make sure we don't get you in trouble.
He has one of those little buzzer things. If you say the wrong thing, you're going to get zapped.
And we know you got practice coming up later, so we don't want to make you run too much. But talk a little bit about Coach Western and what he's brought to the table and kind of helping, get you guys jump-started.
With Coach, I met him in the summer at Pittsburgh, and I can tell from then he was a good coach. He already connected with the girls that I was around, and like I knew as soon as he came to Sligo that he had a plan, and he's been showing me that this team is not just that squad and this squad, it's us as a family, and I trust him with everything.
So in your opinion, what makes a coach a good coach? You played for a few through middle school and high school. What makes a coach a good coach in your?
The way that he has our defense and offense and our playing time. We all get the same amount of playing time. The plays I really like the plays because they're easy. And it's just him, just always positive.
Always?
Somewhat.
Everybody gets the same amount of playing time?
Yeah.
I thought you was about to say, yeah, he's giving me all the minutes I can handle. Only if I raise my hand do I get pulled out of the game. You ain't got it like that?
No.
Okay.
I have somebody sub me out.
There you go.
All right, so a good team usually has a few players helping to make things happen, of course. Let's talk a little bit about your senior point guard, Miss Scales, who has made a big difference for you guys this year.
Yes. Lachey, she is a awesome passer. Like, you just got to be watching out for her passes because they be unexpected. She's a shooter. She can shoot. She can dish off. She can rebound somewhat, even though she's like 5'3". She's an all-around player, too. She goes from the point guard to the two-man. She can't play a post, but she's trying.
So let's talk about another player on the team kind of got you guys jump-started once Rihanna Lawson started, getting in the lineup and doing some things. Talk a little bit about the freshman and what she's brought to the table.
Rihanna, she is such a good player. Like, if you watch her, she does so many good things, and on her Euros, her legs are so long that she gets to the basket easy. So, like, she's just a really good
They refer to euros.
Yeah,
now as a-
I was
as a
like,
Euros.
that's
So
impressive.
that's something you guys actively practice how to do that.
Yeah, we started doing that in the summer.
So who has the craziest looking euro? Like, who does a euro where you're like, you need to stop doing that? And like,
I'll say Tavia. Her legs is kind of short for it.
You know who really got that? I noticed with a girl. That's a popular move for girls. Is Anna Deegan a few years ago? She used to go cut through like that. So very very cool. So you dig the euro step. Give us. Let's have a little fun here, just a little bit. Give us. So you guys are getting down. You turn the ball over 3 times in a row. Give us your best Coach Western impression when he calls that timeout and brings you guys back to the huddle. What is he saying? Is he still positive then? Come on, give us the Coach Western.
I don't know. He'd probably be like, "What are y'all doing? We're like, what are y'all doing? Y'all need to get the ball back." Like,
that's not
There you
bad.
go.
That's not bad. Who else on your team you want to shout out? You know, who else would you like to give some love to?
Detriana Robertson. She has a positive attitude on the court and on the bench. Like, you can hear her yelling, even if we're not playing and the boys are playing, you can hear her screaming from the stands. Her positive attitude is awesome on the court. And she's a hustler. She's the only big that can, like, sprint the floor in transition. And she's really good.
I love that. I love hearing you shout out somebody just for that. You know, even on the bench, you always want to hear that. You know, you always want your people on the bench to be into it a little bit, but hearing that encouragement coming from the bench is always positive. So that's pretty cool.
So I know family-wise from your brother Chris. Talk a little bit about, I know he's a few years older than you, but did you guys play against each other, or did he kind of help you with your game at all?
Yes, he did. Like, when I was younger, he used to take me to the gym and play against some older dudes trying to get tougher. And, like, whenever he comes home, we just go outside and start playing or go to the gym. And he just gives me a lot of advice what to do.
Can you beat him?
I'll say so.
Really?
Who's the best trash talker on your on this team?
Shay, probably.
She's a cookie monster. Taking all them cookies. Say, give me them cookies. So you can go to one. I know you play a couple of sports. I actually saw you playing goalie last year on the soccer
Yeah.
team. You play a couple of sports. What all sports are you active in Lego?
Soccer. I played volleyball this year. After I did soccer, I started doing track. So,
But you do want to play basketball at the next level?
yeah.
What college would you want to go to if you can pick a couple that you're interested in?
I had 2 in mind, KU and Baylor.
I'm about to get Coach Wallace on the phone. I'm gonna make sure he hears that because a good player from the city may want to come check him out.
Thanks.
So if someone was visiting Kansas City, you had to take them to one place to eat. Where are you taking them?
I don't know. I'll let them pick.
No, you showing
I
them.
don't
you
know.
have to pick.
What's your favorite restaurant then?
Applebee's.
Really?
That's the best. What's the best barbecue place in Kansas City?
Gates, I'll say.
Really? Okay, so man, how many? You go to Oklahoma Joe or Joe's Barbecue?
I went there before.
You didn't
I
like
didn't
it?
like it, no.
Really? You like Arthur Bryant's?
Nope.
I agree with that there.
Gates.
Let me go on record saying Arthur Bryant's sauce sucks.
All right, if you could drive any car, like if money was no object. David Brox won the Powerball tonight. Said he wanted to buy you a car.
A Mustang.
Mustang. Any car. You can get a Mustang for like 25 grand or
Benz.
something. That's a little better. Like a 7 Series.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mustang, huh? That's all right. I guess you don't want to go blow a bunch of money. I appreciate your financial
I'm gonna start talking
responsibility
about
there.
this. So I take pictures at games and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to come take another one because I figure some things out with my camera. You gotta go get a fat head. Make a fat head of yourself. You should be like the guy from Green Bay that has pictures of himself all around the room. Would you do-
We decided that we're gonna do fat heads when we go to state.
See, and you know what I like about your statement you said there? You didn't
When.
say if. You said when.
Write it down here. Let me make a note of that.
Yeah, I have faith in my team.
And
We're
I
gonna
can quote you on that one.
Yeah.
Any other trash talking you want to do? You guys beat Wyandotte by 70. What are you guys talking about on the court? Are they getting mad or do they?
Yeah,
say?
they were very mad. It was, to me, I was laughing the whole game. Like, it was kind of like practicing our JV.
Oh wow.
It's kind of fun.
So you say your JV would only put up 17?
I think my JV would have beat the varsity Wyandotte because our JV is getting a lot better playing against us. So they got stronger.
Man.
Trying to.
I don't know what you tell somebody. What do you talk about at halftime down? They were down. I think it was like 52 to.
And when was this? Thursday?
Yeah.
So you're probably talking about the next episode of Scandal or whatever's on TV.
That's good. I do know that the Wyandotte coaching staff, they're working hard over there. They got to get things rebuilt up. But, hey, Kiara, we really appreciate all the hard work. You would not be on the show with us unless you were doing just fantastic things over at Slago. We appreciate the hard work that you and your teammates are doing. So keep that up. Keep pushing forward. Anything you want to send out? Shout out to your fans?
No.
What fans? That's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah,
I don't have
what
fans.
right?
She's got a fan club.
You got a fan club?
No.
Okay. All right, this is David Brox with SHUKC Sports Pass with Vernon Birmingham. We'll be right back. All right, David Brox back. We are joined by the head coach of the Atchison Redmen, Mr. Matt Hall. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
I think I'm going to call you Matty Hall, like Matty Ice, Matt Ryan.
There you go. Atchison Redmen now 8-5 after a win last night. So record's a little bit deceiving though, because I went and looked up the records of the teams that you guys have played, and you played Eudora twice, obviously 11-3. They're 11-3. Collegiate is another school from Wichita, 11-2.
Right.
Washington's 9-3, and the Fall Cities team is actually 16-1. So I mean, I know you would probably like to get one of those wins, but I mean, how do you feel? I mean, with the season overall so far, with playing that tough competition and being able to compete in those games.
We're pretty happy. We knew going in we was going to have a tough non-conference schedule. Our conference schedule is always going to be tough, especially for us. But I'm happy where we're at. We're not where we want to be yet. We would have liked to get it. We would have liked to get a one. We felt like the Eudora one got away in the championship. We was in position. We was in position there the other night at home when we played Eudora there the first half. We kind of had things going the way we wanted, and then we kind of got away from the game plan there in the second half, and it kind of fell apart on us. But playing Washington tough at Washington, that's not an easy place to play. Falls City on the road there, we weren't ready for that. But we've gotten better, and that's what you want to see. And like I said, we're not where we want to be yet, but we're getting there.
So you could also argue those are even though not winning those games, playing in those tight games against that competition are the type of games that prepares you for that second half of the season and sub-state and things like that.
Exactly, getting you ready for your conference. And that was one of the things when we went to Washington the first. I told the guys, that was our third game on the road. I told our guys, you've been in this type of environment before. You're going to play a really good team, and it helps when you got young guys and they've been there, and so that kind of helped. And that kind of helped prepare us for that. And then going into the Tonganoxie tournament there in the finals and stuff like that, being that playing with Migo there the night before and winning in overtime on that last second shot and stuff like that. Like you said, that just helps you get ready for sub-state and a run of state.
So the tough schedule, is that intentional, or do you guys I was wondering, do you guys struggle to find games because of location at Atchison? Or we wanted to pick up a few tougher games. We did. We wanted to pick up some quality competition. With the roster we thought we was going to have coming back, with Jerome and Joaquin and those guys, but now Jerome left. But, we thought we was going to have a pretty good team this year, and so we wanted to elevate our games there, and so it's also harder, like you said, it does become difficult finding opponents, stuff like that, especially outside of our area that are 4A and larger, because you run into a lot of 2A and 3A schools around Atchison. So do you guys actually get into a conversation about, home away, or like we'll come to you twice if you come once type thing? Yeah,
we normally set it up. It's usually like we set it up with Collegiate. They came here this year. Next year we'll go there, and it's a 2-year contract.
Okay.
So you guys dropped down to 4A Division II
Right,
this year.
right.
Eudora, who won last year, goes up.
Right. And Dale went up too.
And Dale went up. So we should talk about how battle tested you've been thus far. You still have to play Washington and Wyandotte again. So how important, though, would it be for you guys to get a win or two out of those meetings?
Oh, it'd be very important. Our plan is, we're trying to win the league. So we definitely want to go and compete and beat Washington and beat Wyandotte. There ain't no doubt about it. Just like they want to beat us. It would go a long way, I think, in our program. Beating those types of teams like that, especially on the road or at home, and having a good conference schedule or a good conference schedule, a good conference record, and give our guys some confidence for later down the road.
You guys haven't run into Wyandotte yet, but I mean they've been beaten down.
Right,
They beat
right,
Sligo
right.
down real good last
Yeah,
night
they
on
did.
the road, and they've also put it on Sumner a couple of times too. What are your thoughts on the Bulldogs and what?
I haven't seen them play yet. It sounds like Coach over there, he's got them going in the right direction, getting them turned around, playing an aggressive style of basketball that is what they need to make them be successful. So yeah, we're looking forward to playing them.
So Wyandotte was that team a few years ago that you were able to get that first league win after
Right,
quite some
right.
time again. So what is the team in the league right now where you don't need to say anything to the boys and they're going to be hyped up, ready to play?
I don't have to say it's I don't say anything during any league game. They look forward to going and playing our league. More so than like going and playing last night. I mean, we wonder sometimes if we're going to be up or down for the game. As a coach, you wonder that. And when we play a league game, they're ready. They want to go out. They got something. They play. We play like we got something to prove, which we do, because our first few years we beat down like redheaded stepchild, and now, we're starting to stand up a little bit and go play.
So I went and saw you guys. I've seen you a couple of times now. When I saw you against Washington, you could just see Joaquin's taking a step forward
Right,
in terms
right.
of his game and what he's doing. He's averaging 20 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. So he's filling the stat book up too. I wanted to touch on the matchup he had with Eudora because they put Ballack on him.
Yeah,
So talk
yeah.
a little bit about that challenge for him. He may have struggled a little bit with his length, but
He did, and he struggled with, Mitchell's such a talented player, a gifted athlete, and he did struggle a little bit, and what they were doing defensively behind Mitchell helped him out as well, helped Mitchell out, and when he's got 6'4" and 6'5" back behind him, that helps out as well, and our game plan going in, we got away from it. We got away from it in both games. Stop moving the ball side to side, and then they can load up and really help behind Mitchell. But Mitchell caused Joaquin some problems. I think Joaquin knows that, and and he puts that chip on his shoulder. And like I said, when we play, he was really trying to go at him at our place. And next year when we see him again, it'll be the same way.
So how much better would you say Joaquin is from last year to this year?
He's playing faster. He's not getting in a hurry. He's still doing a good job taking care of the ball. His mid-range has improved significantly.
Yeah.
Free throw shooting, his outside shooting, his three-point shooting is not where he wants it to be, but it's gotten a lot better. And defensively, he can guard anybody. He's gotten stronger, and he can continue to get stronger. I don't think he realizes how quick he is, how quick he can be. With his first step, he tries to take everybody off the dribble, and I tell him sometimes, hey, just blow by him.
Yeah,
You're quick enough to do that. And so he keeps improving his game. You can tell the work he does in the summer has carried over to this year.
You mentioned Jerome, and I actually had it written down here. I hate even keep bringing up the kid since he transferred, but he provided a very valuable resource to the team, the three-point shooting. And you got Adam Smith and you got Marcus Denton that's kind of stepped into that role. How have you made any adjustments to the offense or anything in terms of, because now you don't have that knockdown three-point shooter like you did last year?
Right. Yeah. We talked about that last time. We talked about that last night actually, and after getting beat by Eudora, because like I said, we got away from our game plan and what we wanted to do. We got to understand what we're good at. We're good. We're a good defensive team, and we can score off our defense. Offensively, we're not the same type of team as we were last year. We do want to look to push the ball and try to get an easy basket in transition, but it's not going to be a three because, like I said, those guys, we're not consistent enough to make that shot. So we're not going to take it. And we got to understand that when we get down to the offensive end, we need to move the ball from side to side, work it through our bigs, Rashawn and Jarrell, and get something off penetration with Joaquin on the backside or off ball reversal.
So that's one of the areas where I think you guys do have that advantage compared to most teams in the league is having two physical bigs. You just mentioned Rashawn and Jarrell a little bit. So talk a little bit about them. You know, they're both averaging around 10 points a game, and Chambers and then Rawls is the leading team in rebounding. So talk about those bigs.
Right. You know, Rashawn, he broke out last year. You know, he's been working. Coach Downey's done a good job of developing those two guys. He's having a good year for us so far. We're a really good team when he controls the glass. Him and Jarrell. Jarrell is kind of the same way. He's our active guy. He's like the Energizer Bunny out there. He can go and he never gets tired. And defensively, you know, we can do a lot of different things with him, with running and jumping and trapping and whatever we want to do on the defensive end. He's another one that hard work's paid off for him. He, as a seventh grader, he was not very good. He'll tell you that. But he's stayed in the system. He's put the work in during the summer, and he's just gotten better. And it's fun to see someone have that success as a coach. Makes you proud that work that he's put into it's paying off for him.
So I meant to actually mention this to you a while back because but back at Media Day, you know, all those guys were at Media Day, and I meant to bring this up. But both Sean and Jarrell and Joaquin, all those guys had me wondering, is there a barber at Atchison? Because, I mean, they didn't have a good number one. You need to make sure they got the you can tell them I said it. Tell them they got to get the hair right, man.
They got to get the hair right.
Joaquin wears the natural. Is he still wearing it long?
Yeah. You know, I don't know what they do. I stay out of that. I don't have a whole lot of room to talk with my hair.
Man,
so.
I could get a barber up to Atchison is what I'm saying if we need be.
They had one, and I don't know what he's doing now, but there was a barber shop they used to go to, but I think that got shut down.
Yeah, so. I know some of those little spots, it's always tough to get a barber that can handle the hair. So
I tell them I can hook them up, but they don't want that.
They should take it up as a hobby. To cut some hair, we always get you a $5 cut from a friend. So if someone hadn't seen Atchison play, I mean, how would you describe, you know, your style and what the team looks like this year? Not a scouting report, but, you know, I mean, just
right. You know, like I said, I think our defense kind of sets the tone for what we want to do. Offensively, you know, we're going to be aggressive with getting the ball up the floor and try to get an easy basket out of transition if we can. And if not, we're going to pull it out. We're going to run some offense. I mean, we're going to do what we need to do to get a good look at it and understand what our strengths are and putting those guys in position to be successful.
Is that your style, though, or are you kind of catering to what you have in terms of, you know, the skill set of Joaquin and then your bigs? I mean, does this team reflect how you would want to play basketball, you know?
You know, we'd like to play – I think I'd like to play a little bit quicker, you know, especially in transition. Defensively, I wish we had a little more depth. If we had a little more depth, we would pressure more. I mean, we still play – the majority of the game, you know, we'll pick up and play man-to-man full court, and we'll look to run and jump you a little bit. And that's the style I personally like to see, you know, and it's exciting for everybody. And you're making teams, more importantly, I think you're making teams uncomfortable, you know, on the offensive end and defensive end when you pick them up and having to handle the ball for 94 feet, and then you got to get back on defense, you know, as soon as you shoot the ball, you know. So that's the style I want to play. We're not far from it, but like you said, we do want to put our players in a position to be successful. So, like you said, we've changed up things. You know, last year we played with a little more tempo. We got up and down a little bit more, but then again, I had the guys on the perimeter that could do that, and Jerome and Tanner. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So who are the other teams within that sub-state that you?
We have Royal Valley. They're just north of Topeka. Holton is just north of Topeka on 75, and Jeff West, which is on 59 between Atchison and Topeka.
We seen Jeff West at a football game a couple years ago against Piper.
Yeah. Do you keep track of what they're doing?
Oh yeah.
From a percent, what are their records and stuff looking like? Are you guys?
Let's see here. Holton played last night. They were 7-5, so I think they're 7-6. Jeff West, I don't know what they done last night. Oh, they lost to Royal Valley, I think. So they're going to be like 5-8, I think.
Irregardless, though, you guys have obviously played a stronger schedule than all. You think you're going to be in a position, you know, like we talked about.
We should be. We should be. Yeah, we talked about it last night, and it would be a disappointment for us not to go to the state tournament. You know, I mean, our eyes are on that prize, and you know, I don't want to look ahead of past anybody, or I don't want, you know, put our foot before us or anything like that. But we want to go to the state tournament, and we think we're in a position to go do that. And those other teams are going to be tough. You know, playing Holton. Holton's battle tested as well. You know, they play some good teams, and that conference is not a weak conference that they play in. That Big Seven is a pretty good conference.
With Hayden in, probably?
No, they're in with teams called Sabetha and Nemaha Central, and they're year in, year out. They're going state. One of those two teams out of that sub-state will normally go to the state tournament. So
where's state for Division II?
It's in Wichita. It's at Park. What's that called? Park Hill down there. I don't know. It's on the south side of town.
Okay. Cool.
So who are we missing? I mean, we obviously look at numbers and stats and stuff, and people stand out that way. But who on your team would you want to shout out and you know showing appreciation for the hard work that they put in?
You know, Adam Smith's done a good job. He's gotten better. You know, he's really kind of started to break out since the Christmas break. Marcus Denton, he's battled back. He had some things going on personally.
That kid is photogenic. Me and him were locked in at Tanganyika. Did you see the pictures?
Yeah, there's some good pictures.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't put a fat head up at that, I just quit. But I got like 2 or 3 good shots at him. So
Marcus has done a good job. You know, like I said, he's came back from some things and stuck it out. And so it's nice. He scored 11 or 12 for us last night. Shot the ball better. It's good to see him come out of a slump. I think the night before that he was like 1 for 10 from the 3-point line. So it's good to see him play as well as he did. And I already said Adam. You know, Tay Helms, freshman coming off the bench. You know, he's done some good things for us. So we're starting to build a little bit more depth, which is what we need to make a run here at state.
So if our schedule's accurate, I don't know how it is because David sets our broadcast schedule and they flip around all over the place. But if this is accurate, we're actually scheduled to see you guys twice this week. Is this accurate?
I have no idea.
So we scheduled to have you at Harmon.
I think I did do
Harmon Tuesday, then Wyandotte Friday.
Yeah.
Is that still the plan?
That's 2 good games.
Is that still the plan?
So that's Tuesday, Friday?
I need to know before I get in trouble. Is that the plan?
That is the plan.
Okay.
I wanted to get see you guys at least a couple of times. I mean, I'm a big fan of Joaquin's. I did want to ask you kind of just philosophy-wise, if you did have Jerome again this year, you think his scoring would be down a little bit?
Or Joaquin's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be because he would
maybe have a few more assists than
he
what
would
he
have
would
a few more assists. He would knock down a few more shots for him and help him out there.
I'm a big fan. I like that kid. I mean, he sounds like a good kid too. I mean, you obviously interact with him a lot more.
Yeah, he's a 3.9 student. You know, he's never in trouble. Does the right things.
All?
Yeah.
3.9.
It might be like a 3.98. He'll get mad at me. He'll text me as soon as he finds out if I'm not right.
I need him to get like those 4.2, 4.3s.
That's where I was. Because you get college credit for your
there wasn't even a chart for me.
Oh, whatever. Hey, Coach, we really appreciate the work you put in.
Yeah.
You know, in rebuilding Atchison and putting them on the map. I know it takes kids to make that happen,
Right,
but you still got to put them in a position to win.
Does.
So keep doing what you're doing. We'll look forward to seeing you this
look
week.
forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Even though I didn't even really know what we were doing, but I appreciate it. All right, have a good one.
Yep.
That's why I'm the brains of the operation.
Absolutely. All right, this is David Brox.
Mark Snyder is the brains of the operation.
Mark Snyder should get
a raise.
Yeah, he should get a raise. Just give him a 50% raise. Put it in the budget.
Sounds like a plan.
50% of nothing is. Hey, Mark Snyder. Remember that name. It definitely stays in the background, doesn't talk much, but I really appreciate this man and the time he puts in for SHUKC. So this is David Brox with what's your name again?
Wu-Tang is for the children. That's all you need to know. Wu-Tang is for the children.
All right, Coach Hall. We'll see you next time.